Alexa, pause. What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel, Purposeful Pain, where I tell my story about my spiritual journey, along with ways on how to help you on your journey or partner alongside of you if that's where you are. I'm your host at Miss Izzy. That's what they call me over on IG. You might also know me as Isabel or Isabella if we have been friends for a really long time. So if you're ready to have real talk on how we can lean on God while becoming better version of ourselves, then hit that subscribe button so we can catch up every week. So if you were here last week, you heard my backstory a little bit. So we are going to get into the gem of the week and our biblical affirmations. So I'm not sure what time you're listening to this, if it's early in the morning for you or if it's in the middle of the day. But whatever time you're listening to this, it is never an inopportune time not to change the trajectory of your day. So if you are having a bad day or you're feeling a little overwhelmed, I feel like this is the perfect time for you to sit and affirm, also to take in I call them morning gems, but they could be whatever time of the day. So today's morning gem goes, today is great because my body decided that it was time to end, rest, and spend time with God. So if you're here with me, then you are ready to have a conversation about God and what that looks like for you. To take on another wonderful day. If you are just reading this or listening to this early in the morning, you are ready. You have your cape and your armor on to take on the day. If it is the middle of the day for you, then maybe you need a refresh, and that is what I'm here for. So, have you thanked God for another wonderful day? Have you found things that you're grateful for? If not, let's talk. So today's intention, I will be kind to myself, gentle and compassionate with myself, because those things are necessary. We already know that the world is extremely harsh sometimes, and we need to be compassionate and gentle with ourselves when we're going through something, anything. And I need to take my own advice. I often have to sit and tell myself these things as well. Today I will learn to work the recording equipment. So I did order some new recording equipment, and that is my intention, right? Like, I have to do this so that I can come on here and talk to you guys and help you and partner alongside with you. So I have to learn something in order to be able to feed back to you guys. Gratitude. I am grateful for stability. It is the one thing that I am extremely grateful for. There was a point in my life where I did not have stability, and so I am grateful for the stability that I have. I'm grateful for my disciplined mind. We're going to get into that, how to get more disciplined with your journey with God, how to get more disciplined in doing things for yourself. And I'm also grateful for God's never-ending love, because no matter what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, I promise you, His love is just never-ending. So release. Today, I let go of what I feel. Feelings are temporary. It is what I believe that matters, and I believe that God will make a way. So sometimes we're feeling really overwhelmed, and we just can't figure out a way out of no way. And I promise you, if you sit and you pray, you have a conversation with God, like you really surrender your problem to Him, things will start to look up. And it might not happen right away, but I promise it will happen. And lighting my way. Every morning you have the opportunity to change your life, to start something new, to end something that no longer feels right, to love yourself a little more, to say yes or to say no, to take on a small task or a giant leap. Life doesn't stand still, and the truth of the matter is, it never will. So why not make the changes you want to see? Take on the chances each and every day to be closer to the life that you want to live. And this is really the purpose of this podcast, is to be able to get you to the point where you're living your life with intention, and you're living your life the way you want to live it. Not the way social media dictates it, not the way the church dictates it, not the way your mother or your father dictates it, the way you want to live it, with intention, with a kind heart, living in your purpose. So that is today's morning gem. I will put this in the description box for you guys to have. Also, if you follow me on IG, I will also put that in the description box. I post these every other morning in a reel, so you can always go listen to it if you need a refresher. Let's get into our scripture of the day. It will be Romans 12:2. And that scripture reads, "And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." So if you need a translation of some kind, I got you. So the reason why I love my Bible is because it has these layman's terms to the scripture that I just read. And I'm going to read the layman's terms for you because I'm sure that it will resonate. So the title of the layman's terms is Change Your Minds. And that is kind of also the topic of today. We are talking about acceptance, mindset, and belief. So it says, "When I was a child, I was taught that it is a woman's prerogative to change her mind. If you have become accustomed to a thought or habit, you should get rid of it. Stop what you are doing and change your mind. I know it isn't easy, but it is so necessary. It will help you immeasurably to speak to yourself and say, I am better than this. You don't have to change the other person's mind. You just need to change your own. Be careful what you get used to. If you don't watch out, you can become accustomed to negative things the Father never wanted you to have, like pain or abuse. Some people have become used to poverty. Some have become used to fighting. They feel at home in pain. They cleave to it because they understand it. Maybe you've made your life's goal to win someone you may never win, or perhaps you've spent years trying to change the mind of someone who may never change their mind. The real victory occurs when you change your own mind. The power of choice is a great power. Be careful that you do not give that power away. It is your right to choose how you want to live. Even God respects that right. He gives you that right. Instead of asking an abuser if he has had enough, you must ask yourself if you have had enough. This is always the greater question. Others may not ever get their fill of abusing you. If you have judged within yourself that abuse is not God's will for you, why are you asking someone else to choose? The greater question is, do you, as a daughter of a king, want to live under these circumstances? If you saw my podcast last week, I no longer wanted to live under my circumstances, so I had to make a choice. God can change the other person's heart, and many women have survived to see what wonderful miracle happened, others have not. Do you see that you don't have to spend your life on a quest to find someone to help you? When you have Christ, He is all the help you need. He has been there all the time. Never forget to turn to Him and never let anyone have His place in your life. If you do, you will always be disappointed. He is the one who gives the power to change. With Him on your side, you will always survive. You are empowered. You are empowered by the presence of God. By His rich grace, you have the power to see a miracle. Don't forfeit it or forsake it. You can change the situation whenever you get ready. And obviously, if you have pulled up to my podcast today, you are ready to change whatever situation you may be going through, or just to change some things in your life. And that's what we're here to do today together. So we are going to jump on into our affirmations. Our title affirmation for today is, I am intentional about renewing my mind. Again, we're still still taking part with Romans 12:2. our affirmations read, and I will also put these in the description so that if you guys need to come back to them, if I'm reading them too fast, you want to screenshot them, whatever you like to do. My mind is safe and sound. I am in charge of what I think and the thoughts I entertain. I align my thoughts with what God wants and what God says about me. I will not conform to the statements, standards, or patterns of this world. I welcome positivity, clarity, and Christ-like thoughts. I protect my mental space by any means necessary. I respect my own boundaries. I allow God to transform, cleanse, and renew me. I am intentional about renewing my mind and spirit daily. When my mindset changes, everything around me and in me changes. I interpret my life through the lens of God's word. So, doing this journey is never ending. You have to be intentional with this journey. Like, if you don't, it has to be a dedication, right? It has to be a dedication. This is what I want to do. I no longer want to live this life that I've been living, or a lot of things, like I said last week, a lot of things don't resonate, and I need to change. It doesn't happen overnight. It will never happen overnight. I feel like I've been doing this since 2016, and I really did not start to see God's awe until like 2 years ago. And I knew that he was covering me and taking care of me and protecting me. I knew these things because things that I was going through in my life, there was no possible way I was doing that on my own. None whatsoever. So I knew that he existed, and I knew that he was covering me, and I knew that he was protecting me. But seeing his awe in its entirety, I feel like that did not happen until the last 2 years, where I really got to sit down and spend intentional time with God. Like, I get up every morning, and it's something I have to do. And if you guys know, like, I have to be to work really early in the morning. There's days where I got to be to work at 6:30 in the morning. But I make it my business to get up at 4 a.m. so that I can spend time with God. Even if it's 15, 20 minutes, like, I have to spend time with God. I have to read. I have to fill my spirit in order to be able to do my job, in order to be able to continue with my day. Because it's just, my day can't function without it. And, I'm sure that you will get there. And if you already are there, great. Like I said, I'm here to either help you on your journey or partner alongside you. So again, if you tuned in last week, you heard some of my backstory and how my spiritual journey began through my healing journey. We also talked about 5 of the subjects that helped me manage my new life, becoming the woman God desires for me to be. And those 5 subjects were, the first one is acceptance, mindset, and belief. That's a whole process in itself, which we are going to talk about today. The second one, again, was expectations and letting go. Number 3 was releasing the need to know. And number 4 was, what is your pain? And you have to acknowledge it. And number 5 is setting boundaries. So today we're going to talk about number 1, acceptance, mindset, and belief. So when we talk about acceptance, I'm talking about accepting the things that you're doing every day that no longer resonate with you, right? Like, for example, if you are in a dead-end job and you're like, I know that I could be doing better and I have all these attributes, and people are really like saying to you all the time, like, oh, you're so good at this and oh, you're so good at that, and you feel like you're wasting your oh so good at something because you are at your 9 to 5 just feeling mundane. I'm not telling you to quit your job tomorrow, but what I'm telling you is that you need to make the time for that thing that you are so passionate about while you're at your 9 to 5, right? Like, carve out time, carve out money. And I'm not saying it comes out of nowhere, but once you start asking God, if this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life, you're going to find a way. I'm ready. It'll happen. Because you have to be ready. Like, your mind has to be so focused. You have to be so tunnel vision. Like, this is the life that I can see myself living. not this. Also, if the things that you're doing every day just don't resonate with you, I follow this really great I want to say content creator, and she was telling a story on how she was dating a guy, and the guy loved to eat bacon, but she knew that eating bacon every day, like they was eating bacon often, like 3 times a week at least. And okay, like that's great, but she knew that eating bacon that many times in the week was gonna cause her to break out. Like then it was gonna cause her to gain weight. She was feeling slut. Like all of these things were happening, and she was doing them because she wanted to impress the guy she was dating, but it didn't resonate with her. She knew the consequences. Sometimes we know the consequence and we still do it anyway. We gotta pump the brakes. Like that don't work for me. It's okay to say no. So you have to be ready to dive right into, I want to get this work done. I want to change the trajectory of my life. I want to, where do I want my life to go? Where do I see it? Right? So I took down a lot of notes because I've really been studying this subject for the last 2 weeks. It is also a subject that I have been reworking on. You get to a point in your spiritual journey where you have this faith in God, but then the devil starts to play with you and things start to happen and you're like, whoa, wait, what's happening? You start to question yourself. You start to question your journey. You start to question God, and I promise you that's never a good look. But so I did take down some notes. You're going to see me looking at my notes so that I can give you real feedback and real information that's going to help you on your journey. So, all right. So anyway, before we even jump into how we change our mindset, you guys already know the routine. Do you have your water? Do you have your tea? Do you have your coffee? Do you have something to drink or a snack? Because, you know, baby, it gets into story time over here, okay? So we always get into story time and you always need a snack. So make sure you got yourself ready. Pause me if you need to pause me and go grab yourself a snack and a drink. You see I already got my drink? I'm drinking horchata, and I haven't had horchata in a long time since I was in New York City, and I love horchata. It gives real summer vibes. Okay, so what is happening? Why did I do that? All right. So let's get into, so here's a little gem for you guys. There's a difference between being saved and being healed until you are whole. So salvation happens instantly, right? Like when you say that you want to give your life to Christ, that's like, boom. God's like, great. My daughter, they came back to me. They're going to try to do the very best that they can. They're accepting me into their heart, and my daughter's back, right? Healing is a lifelong process. Salvation is instant, but healing is a lifelong process. And what you're going to need is a strong mindset and a strong belief in God to keep going through the never-ending journey. Like, you can't stop. It's like, okay, here's an example of why you can't stop. Lately, I've been seeing on Instagram and like on social media how parents are really overwhelmed with their kids because they get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to take these kids to these tournaments and to take these kids to these practices, and they pay out of pocket all this money, and then the kids on the field doing what? The kids on the field either not 100% participating, the kid is on the field running the opposite way. Like one of the IG reels I saw, the mom is talking to the daughter. She's on the red team. The other team is a white team, and she's running with the white team. And mom is like, you can't do that. Like, you need to do better. Like, she's trying to tell her that she needs to do better. And yeah, she's giving her gentle parenting. She's trying, but she's extremely frustrated with her daughter. And you could tell because she's like, yo, I got up mad early. I'm trying to do this. That's the same thing with us and God. He gets frustrated with us because we quit him so many times. We quit him the minute that things look like they are going left, we quit him. I'm going to need you to give God as many chances as you gave that dude. I'm going to need you to give God as many chances as you gave the gym. I'm gonna need you to give God as many chances as you gave that coworker that you wanted to bust upside the head, or you wanted to say something crazy to her, but you knew that you needed your job. Yeah, that's me. I've been there. We cannot quit him when things look hard, because that's when he does his most magnificent work. And I promise you, this episode, I'm really talking to myself, because this week was a hard week for me. This week was so overwhelming. Like, I was spiraling, and then I had to snap out of it and be like, baby, you are the daughter of a king, and that is all you ever need. If he brought me through all the stuff that I told y'all last week, what I got going on right now is minimal. Minimal. So, we cannot quit God when things get hard. Back to mindset. In order to become anything in life that you need to have a strong mindset. You must be the magnet for what you want to attract. Let's talk about the significance, right? So your mindset is a collection of your thoughts, your beliefs, your attitude. It shapes your perspective on the world, and it influences your actions. So here's an example. Vulnerability. Here we go. Last week, I didn't work all week long. So now I'm a travel, and if I don't work, I don't get paid. There's no PTO. There's no inkling of a bank anywhere that I could be like, oh, I didn't work today. It's okay. I could put in this many hours and they'll pay me. No, baby. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid. So last week I didn't get paid, right? Because I didn't work. So I'm trying to pick up per diem shifts as I do, and nothing. There's like nothing happening. And I'm like, okay. Still trying to hold on, because it's like, okay, well, I have this amount of money. I could do this with that. I'm good. Nope. I was starting to feel like overwhelmed. Now I'm paying things out. The first is coming. Things is happening. Okay. So if I did not have a strong mindset, I really would have been back under the bridge and not recording today and not talking to you guys today and not pushing forward. But because I've literally spent the last 5 years changing the trajectory of my mindset and my thoughts, especially when the curveballs come, I was able to only give myself a day to feel sad about this, a day to feel like, oh, boo-hoo, woe is me, and then be like, nah, we got to get back out there. Like, we have to figure out a way, because our mind is the devil's playground. So the minute that we're on a negative trajectory or a thought pattern that is not of God, baby, he coming to play. And when he comes to play, he don't give up. So the lenses that you interpret your experiences and make your decisions, all of this comes from your mindset. A positive and empowering mindset can lead your personal growth, your resilience, and lead you to success. But having the positive mindset and the strong belief in God, baby, those two will get you through any door. Those is major keys. Like, just like DJ Khaled, major keys, that. Okay, and here again, I'm not saying that I am the most positive person every day, because I promise you I'm not. Like I said, this week I had a really rough week. There are days where I have to forcefully change my mindset, which was today, right? I have to change my thoughts. I have to change how I feel, because your feelings are not real. What you will start to learn throughout your healing process is that your feelings don't matter. Like, your feelings don't matter. What you believe matters. The facts matter. So believing is the only way to God. The enemy is after your belief system. He's after your mind and your belief system, because the minute that you get to believe something negative, or the minute that you're just like, oh no, this is not gonna happen for me, and yada yada, baby, you gave him an in, and he gonna play on it, and he gonna double that, and he gonna triple that, and he gonna quadruple that. And now what's happening? Now you've spiraled. Now you lost all your belief in God. God is sitting in the background like, I want to help you, but you got to come back to me. And we sitting here letting the devil play with our mind. So we talked about how We talked about how it's going to be story time, right? Y'all ready? Y'all got your snacks? Y'all got your water, y'all tea, y'all coffee? Wine, if you want to drink wine, I don't care. Like, do what you need to do. Like, you ready? So, last week, I recorded this podcast on a Wednesday, right? Today is Wednesday, a week later. I think I had said to y'all that I had not been inside a church in about 20 years. So, my son is going to be 21 years old. And I think the last time I was physically in a church was when he was a little bit under 1, right? So last week when I finished recording, I had an appointment to go sign my daughter up for summer camp. The summer camp was inside of a church. Okay. So I get there and I park my car, I go inside and I'm ready to, do this paperwork, talk to the lady, whatever. She seems so nice on the phone, So I get there and she's so welcoming. She's giving me a tour of the church. She's telling me her backstory, how she got here. She's from Virginia. And everything is going great. As I'm, engaging, she's inviting me to church. She's asking me about my, my spiritual life. And we're having a good conversation. My watch starts to vibrate. And it's like, zoop, zoop, zoop. And I'm like, well, my phone's in my back pocket and it's not vibrating and it's not ringing. So what is happening? I look down at my watch and it's a Bank of America alert. Now, I tell the lady, excuse me, I look down, I read the message, and I hit no because it's asking me if I made a transaction. Now, mind you, I had just made a transaction of $50 to pay for my daughter's registration fee. But the transaction it was asking me for was for $49.50. Now, baby, this is how the devil will play with you. Because not only was I obedient to God, and recorded my first podcast, scared and all, I did it. But then I stepped foot inside of a church that same day. So, baby, your girl was out here making the devil nervous, okay? Your girl was out here making the enemy real nervous, like, oh no, she can't walk into her new purpose. She can't walk into her new, her newfound right. No, she can't do that. We got to mess with her money. Because I told you last week, I didn't work all week long. So my money, I need to hold on to it. We're getting close to the first of the month. I got to pay bills. I got to do some things, right? So I hit no on the watch, still talking to the lady. And then my watch would not stop. The transactions were happening over and over and over again. And I can't even lie to you. I was nervous. I was like, whoa, what is happening here? But I knew that if I left the church, didn't finish signing my daughter up for camp, didn't finish what I came there to do, I was going to miss my blessing. Because I knew that I needed to be here. It literally, the camp offers so many things that are beneficial for my daughter. And a little backstory, my daughter is emotionally autistic. So she needs a lot of engagement. She needs a lot of emotional support, and they offered all of these things that I was like, my daughter's gonna love it here. So I could not walk away. I'm like, my daughter needs this. I need to be here. I'm gonna take care of this when I'm done. So as I'm wrapping up with the lady, she's like, oh, thank you so much. I can't wait to meet Babala. And if you want to come back to church, we're here on Sundays, yada, yada, yada. It was great. I got in my car, opened my phone, and seen that it was 11 transactions for $49.50. Guys, I did the math yet? 11 transactions of $49.50 is $575. I don't know about y'all, but I just can't be giving away $575. So I sit on my phone, I go through all of the questions that they're asking me, I go through the fraud department, I do all the things, and I'm like, yo, really there's nothing that I could do about it. Now, I did feel overwhelmed. I did feel like, what is happening? God, I just did something that you asked me to do. Why is this even happening? Like, I did feel all of those things. I'm not saying I didn't. I'm not saying that I was just like, F it, oh well. No, I mean, this is money that I worked hard for and that I need to continue to pay bills and sustain my life. So I was overwhelmed about it. But There was nothing in that moment that I could do. So I went about my business. I had to go see a friend. That after that, I came home, got some things, and I went to go see a friend. After I went to go see a friend, I came home, and my niece, she was talking to me, and I was letting her know what happened. We prayed about it. We talked about it, and I was like, you know what? There's really nothing that I can do. Mind you, this was on a Wednesday. So Thursday, I see that the money is completely gone. Like it's processed. And I'm like, okay, great. So Thursday, I went to go meet another friend for coffee and breakfast. So I went to go meet another friend for coffee and breakfast. And after that, I really wanted to hone in on writing this episode and studying about this episode. And I wanted to go somewhere quiet. And I didn't want to come home because sometimes when I do things at home, I get distracted. I turn the TV on, I start to clean. So I wanted to go somewhere where I would have no distractions. I Googled this coffee shop that I keep seeing on Instagram, and I went to the coffee shop. Guys, the coffee shop was in a church. So in the last 2 days of recording my podcast, I stepped into a church twice. I haven't stepped in a church, I told y'all, in over 20 years. But in 2 days, I stepped foot inside a church twice. Yeah, the devil was really mad. He was. He was really mad. So let's wrap the story up because we still got so much to talk about. But anyway, so now I order this coffee and I get a scone or whatever, and I'm sitting down and I've newly found Christian rap. And baby, when I tell you Christian rap is giving, I'm gonna see if I link my Christian rap playlist here in the description because it is giving. It gets me to work out. It gets me to write. It gets me to do all the things that Lil Wayne used to get me to do, okay? Because I love a good fast beat, but I'm also a lyricist, so I love to listen to the lyrics. So I put my headphones in, I'm typing away, I'm reading the Bible, I'm correlating some things, I'm remembering some things, boom, getting it all done. But then I get distracted. I told you I went there not to get distracted. Still got distracted. So along in my peripheral vision, I see this big rack of syrups. And if you know your girl is a barista in her own right, okay? I used to work for Starbucks many moons ago. And I love me a good coffee, but I like to make my coffee at home. And I am a little bougie. I got syrups. I got a coffee machine that froths my milk and gives me espresso. It does all the things. But I was running low on syrup. And I seen the syrup from the side of my eye. And I was like, dang, I should get some syrup while I'm here. Let me see if these is for sale. So take my headphones out. I go walk over to the girl. And I ask her, I'm like, hey, quick question. Are these syrups for sale? And she's like, no, this is just our inventory. And I was like, man, that's a lot of syrup. And she was like, yeah, you're not the first person to ask us if the syrup is for sale. We really should think about selling the syrups. And I told her, like, I pitched her on how she could sell it, even if they had like an overstock, just the whole thing. So now, she answers my question. I'm like, all right, let me go back to writing because the coffee shop closes at 5 and it was like 4 or something. So I don't put my headphones back in. A gentleman had walked in, he ordered a pastry, and then another gentleman had walked in behind him and he was ordering. But this gentleman looked like he knew the girls. Maybe he attended the church, maybe he knew them because they were having a conversation that seemed very friendly. So, I'm observing, but I'm still minding my business because, baby, that's what we do. We drink our water and we mind our business. So I'm typing away, typing. And I don't know where the opening came, but the gentleman asked me if I was coming to church on Sunday. And I was like, is he talking to me? Because I wasn't talking. Is he talking to me? And I looked at him and I was like, you talking to me? And he's like, yeah, I'm talking to you. And I'm like, maybe? I'm like, I don't know. I'm never rude about anything. Like, I try my best not... New Isabel is never rude about anything because old Isabel was really rude. Anywho, I try my best not to be rude. You never know what someone got going on. That's my favorite thing to say. Whatever you do it with love. So I was just like, maybe. And he was like, oh, you should really come to church. Church be lit. he reminded me of my son, right? Like, I'm 40, gonna be 42 years old, and him telling me that church is lit, it's not what I go to church for if I was to ever come back to church. So I said to him, well, I really don't go to church for it to be lit. And he was like, nah, I get that. But what I'm saying is like, people come to church, people don't come back to church because of the experience that they have. And I said to him, well, honestly, people don't come back to church because they don't feel safe. And he was like, word? Talk about it. And I was just like, well, you know, sometimes you go to church and they like put you on a spot. You kind of just want to fill it out. And you don't really want to be in the limelight or in the spotlight. And they, you know, some churches, they do that. Or you come to church and they real standoffish. They're not too welcoming. So there isn't really a balance. Or I haven't seen a balance is what I said to him. I'm not saying all churches are the same. I just haven't seen a balance. And so that's why people don't come back to church. I said, because they don't feel comfortable enough and they don't feel safe. And he was like, yo, I really never thought about it like that. He was like, but I really think that you should come to church. Like, he was telling me all about their church. And I was just like, okay, that's great. And then we were having a conversation. And I said to him, I don't want y'all to think I don't believe in God. I said, because I'm clearly sitting here trying to, like, outline my second episode for my podcast. And it's about my spiritual healing journey. So I promise y'all is that not that I don't believe in God. It's just that I haven't been to a church that feels like home or feels comfortable enough. So therefore, I just have my own relationship with God. So I don't know what happened, but me, the gentleman, the two girls that were originally in the coffee shop, we just started conversing about church, spiritual journey, what my journey looked like. And I'm like, I don't know these people from a hole in the wall. Like, what is happening? But baby, when God places you in places, he will place you in places with purpose. Because I didn't know any of those individuals. And the things that I was saying to them is not things that I thought that I was ready to say to anyone unless you know me personally. But when God places you in places, I promise you, there's a reason. So, I say all of this to say that not only was my money gone, but now I'm talking to strangers and I'm like, whoa, what is happening here? But baby, God will do it to you every time. He will stick you somewhere every time. So I say all of this to say that the enemy, he will attack your mind. He will attack your body. He will attack your money. He will attack your belief system. The enemy wants you to question God. And we do this often. We question God and we quit God. The Bible says, lean not on your own understanding. You need to realize that your understanding is always evolving. Knowledge is always evolving. So if we rely on what we know, then we're always going to be in doubt of God. If you base your belief system on what you feel, then you're never really going to believe God 100% because your feelings change like the wind. So you have to be dedicated and disciplined to be like, yo, no matter what is happening in my life, I know that God got me. And that is not easy. It is the hardest part of this journey. You're going to have to come back to step 1 100 times because we are human. And the two things that we know are what we know and what we feel. And baby, those two things, they just don't correlate at all. So you have to build a life around a solid belief system that God exists and he has so much greatness in store for you. Like, you really have to, on social media, they're talking about two things. We talked about how they're talking about the soft woman era, which is something that you will flourish in your journey. But they're also talking about romanticizing your life. And that's great. Like, really, you should romanticize your life. But that really starts with knowing that you are the daughter or the son of a king. Baby, my favorite thing to say is, have you met me? I'm a daughter of a king. Have you met me? And that's not boasting. It's the truth. There is no possible way that I have been through all of the things that I've been through in my life. And I've been doing a lot of research about my life. Like things that I didn't remember that I remember now. And it's like, there's no way I made it through that by myself. It's because I'm the daughter of a king. And that man don't play about me. He don't play about me. He don't play about my circle. He don't play about my new tribe. Like, God don't play about us. You need to start walking in that right. Like, God don't play about me. God is not going to let me down. God got my back. Once you can master that mindset, that Jesus uses your problems as an illustration, baby, you'll realize that your problems are just an illustration for you or someone else to believe in him. It's a setup, if you will. Like, all right, for example, let's get the Bible out. All right, we all know the story in the Bible about how Jesus walks on water and Peter and the disciples think that he's a ghost, right? If you don't know, let's read it real quick. So I'm reading out of Matthew chapter 14, verse 26 through 30. 26 through 30. Okay. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It is a ghost." And they cried out for fear. But immediately Jesus said to them, "Be of good cheer. It is I. Do not be afraid." And Peter answered him. Now, if we know Peter be out here challenging God. I feel like he is the disciple that challenges God the most. He reminds me mostly of us because we be out here challenging God. And Peter answered him and said, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." So he said, "Come." And when Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw that the winds were boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, "Lord, save me." Come on, Peter. And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him and said to him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt me?" And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased. Then those who were in the boat came and worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." Okay, let's talk about Peter. So that was a setup. Peter tested God and told God, "If that's really you, tell me to come to the water." So God said, "Come." But the minute that Peter doubts him, because things get shaky, he starts to worry, he loses his faith, he's about to drown. Before he drowns, God reaches out to him. But he says to him, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt me?" Yo, we do this all the time. We test God, we ask God for something, and the minute it looks shaky, it's not going our way, we doubt him. We quit him. Didn't I just tell you to give God as many chances as you gave that dude? Now, the doubt has set in, and the enemy comes to play. On all your emotions, he emphasizes that doubt, and now we lose all trust in God. We missing out on our blessing. So we back to God using our problems as an illustration, right? Peter's problem was that he was about to drown because he lost all faith in God. He created his own problem, which we do all the time as humans. We create our own problems because we can't stay out of our heads. Now, we all know that God is all-knowing. If you don't believe that, I'm sorry, it's fine. We can have a difference of opinion. But over here on Purposeful Pain, we know that God is all-knowing. So he knew that Peter was going to doubt him once the winds got rocky. But he also knew that the masses were watching. How many people do you think doubted God back in the day? You think everybody believed that God was a miracle worker? You think everybody believed that Jesus was a healer? Nah, they was out here like, he a lie. That's a lie. He knew the masses was watching. So in the moment that he saved Peter, he created belief in the masses. Belief that he can heal, save, provide. So do we see how God used Peter's problem as a setup for the others to believe? Because after Jesus creates a miracle, things go back to normal, right? Like, he created the miracle, he saved Peter. Now Peter's not drowning no more. He created the miracle, he took 12 loaves of bread and he fed 500 people. Those people ate and they were not hungry in that moment when he fed them. But then, they went about their business and I'm sure they was hungry again. But what they left there with was the belief that God can do all things. They didn't leave there not being ever hungry again. Excuse me. They didn't. They left there. They was fed. But they also were full of, their belief was changed. Their mindset was changed. And I really, it happens with all human forms. Like, we have to see it in order to believe it, but that's not how this is always going to work. Like, God is really out here changing things every day that we don't see. And we just got to believe that he's doing the same for us. So, after things go back to normal, the masses leave with their strong belief. They start to have a mindset and a belief system that God can do anything. And again, we need to do the same. So here's the thing, right? You have to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that is, bottom line, today's topic, today's point. If you don't change your mindset, you're always going to be in this rut. You're always going to be in this situation that you are not happy with. But it takes for you to say, I don't want to do this no more. And I know that God has bigger for me. So I have a sticky on my vanity mirror where I sit every morning to read and to pray. And the sticky says, I am predestined for greatness. I wake up to that. I wake up to that because I need that reminder, because some days my brain is so full about what happened the day before or what I may have going on that I need to see something off the rip that's going to change the trajectory of my thoughts. You are predestined for greatness because, baby, you are the daughter or a son of a king, and he don't play about us. I'm going to say that. That's all the time. I say it every day, all day. If you in my inner circle, you already know it's in our group chat. Like, God don't play about us. But we have to know that. Like, we have to feel that. And sometimes you have to purposely change the trajectory of your thoughts. For instance, y'all know that in the field I work in, right, it's hard. But the field I work in changes the perspective of life every day. Again, for those that don't know, I'm a surgical tech, meaning that I assist in all kinds of surgeries all day. And for the last year and a half, I have been working in a trauma hospital. So when someone rolls into my operating room and they are endowed with 2, 3, 4 bullet wounds, or they have been stabbed, or they are limbless, that changes your perspective on life. Because I got to get up this morning, I got to read, I got to pray, and God protected me all day long, and now I'm here trying to save somebody's life. Bro, that changes the perspective. Like, we can't keep living this woe is me life when there's people out here that don't have half the stuff that we have. We really have to start walking in this gratitude and this mindset that we are destined for greatness and God is not going to play about us. But you really have to come to him and say, God, I need your help. I need you to transform my mind. I need you to pull me out of this environment that is not conducive to me. You got to be ready, willing, and able. They say stay ready so you don't got to be ready. Baby, I stay ready. But I wasn't always ready. You got to stay ready. You got to stay ready. You got to stay prayed up. You got to stay faithful. You got to stay focused. You have to come to God every day and be like, God, I need you to help me. Because if not, you're going to be out here trying to do it on your own. And baby, doing it on your own causes you to live the lessons over and over again, because I lived the lessons over and over again. I lived them too many times. And I don't want to do it. Like, you got to stop focusing on what you can't do. You got to focus on what God can do. And he could do every and anything, but you got to ask him to do it. But after you ask him to do it, you have to believe. You got to stop quitting God when it gets hard. Stop quitting God when it gets hard. Give God as many chances as you gave old boy. Give God as many chances as you gave the gym. Give God as many chances as you gave that coworker that was tapping on your last nerve, but you know you need your job. Give God that many chances, because he gives us so many. He gives us more chances than that. So, if you are ready to change your mindset, I would say you need to be disciplined. You need to start practicing the same things every day for at least 20 to 30 days straight. Every day, the same time, doing the same thing. So let me run through you what my routine looks like and what it has looked like for the past 2 years now. 2 years. I get up every morning between 5 and 6 a.m. on an off day, right? This is on an off day. I'll run you through on a work day. Between 5 and 6 a.m. I get up at 5 a.m. I open my eyes. I tell God, thank you for another day. I go downstairs, or to my kitchen when I was in New York. I go downstairs. I make myself a cup of coffee. I need my coffee. It's just, have you met me? So make myself a cup of coffee. I go back upstairs, sit at my desk with my lamp. I turn on my water noise or my Zen music. And I write in this book. This is called the Morning Magic 5-Minute Journal. It asks me questions. The gems that I read out to you. Vision. What would make today great? At this point, it don't matter what would make today great. Today is already great. I woke up. Today, and I have a chance to do great things. So that's usually how I attack that. Intention. Today I will. What will you do today? See, goals and intentions is two different things. Intentions you could do right now, today, in this instant. Goals, you need to attain them. So every day I have an intention for myself. Enjoy the small moments. I will conquer my fear. When things start looking shaky, I got to remember what my intention was today. Isabel, what was your intention today? You was going to conquer your fear. You got to get through this. Gratitude. Guys, please, 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 please walk in gratitude in everything that you do. That's like that is God's happy music. When you are grateful for the smallest things, baby, God is out here just skipping to a beat. Because the world got enough complaining and negative stuff going on. And when you out here being grateful, baby, God is out here just singing and humming. And he's like, oh, my daughter is happy today. My daughter is grateful for this. Oh, my daughter's happy about that. Boom, I'm going to give her some more. What, she happy about that? Or I'm going to give her some more. Gratitude. I always find 3 things that I'm grateful for. I'm in a group chat and we send them back and forth every day. Start a group chat. If y'all want to start a group chat, leave it in the comments. We can start a group chat. And I can post what my 3 grateful things are and you guys can reply. You have to start gratifying your life. Everything. You have so much to be grateful for. There is absolutely no real reason why we should be complaining. We got to get up. We got to be with our kids. We get to go to work. Like, we have a job. I remember during COVID, like, there was so many people with no jobs. There's still people with no jobs. You go to restaurants and you sitting waiting for hours. I don't even want to go out to eat anymore because it just takes too long. So I just get excited and cook at home. But the point is you have to be grateful for all of the things that you have, because you have so much. So much. Release. I always find something to let go. Like whatever I'm holding on to that is going to drag me down, or whatever negative thought I gotta release it. So I always write down something that I'm gonna release. And lighting my way. Something that's going to keep me full all day. I'll write it down. I'll record it. I'll keep it in my book. I'll put a sticky note in my phone case, and I can always go back to it. So this is one of the things that I do every morning. Guys, the year is not even halfway through, and I only have like 5 more pages left in this book. I had to order another one because the year is we're not even halfway through the year yet. After I go through my morning 5-minute journal, I mean, sometimes that takes me more than 5 minutes, let's be clear, because I really want to think about the questions. Like, I want to be intentional about the answers. After I go through that, I then so I have a email that comes to me every day, and it has a scripture, and then it has some affirmations, and then it asks me like, what did I get from the affirmations, and then I fill it out in my journal. So for instance, today we read the affirmation, I am intentional about renewing my mind, with the scripture Romans 12:2. So what I do is I write it as the headline. I write out the affirmations. I always write the date. I'm old school. So today's date, the time, and today is day 123 out of 365 days. We've literally been in this year for 123 days. It's just like a wow factor for me. So after I write out my affirmation, the journal prompt is like, what did I get from it? So I usually write it as a note to myself, because I'm going to come back to this book at the end of the year, and I'm going to read it, and I'm going to see how far I've come. So the note to myself today read, good morning, Queen. It's been a rough few days, but here is your reminder that God is in control. But in order to let him control the situation, it all starts with your mind. If there's anything I encourage you to protect most, it's your mind. It's the devil's playground, and the Bible says, as a person thinks, that is what they are. It's amazing to see how mindset can change your entire situation along with an entire generation. Don't settle for what your mind always tells you. You have to fight for your peace and be intentional about renewing your mind on a daily. It all starts from within, so let God transform you so he can use you. Guys, we have to change our minds. If you need this reminder every day until you are doing it, if you need to listen to this podcast or this episode every day until it becomes repetition, you have to change your mind. So as I'm usually writing this and filling my spirit, I am listening to gospel music. It helps, again, fill my spirit. It helps change the trajectory of my thoughts. It keeps me in a happy mood. I then start opening the shades, and I start to make my bed. Guys, I don't know if you know, but making your bed is an endorphin. Like, looking at your clean sheets and fluffing your pillows and making your bed is an endorphin. It's a fact. It changes how your mood is in the morning. I make my bed every day. I open my blinds, I make my bed, I Febreze my sheets. Do you know what that does to me after a long day at work? And I come home and my bed in my room is clean and my sheets are all fluffy and waiting for me? It's a really good feeling. But it's an endorphin. So I suggest you make your bed every morning. And come back and let me know how that makes you feel in the comments. Let me know how it makes you feel. So after I make my bed, I put on my workout clothes. I put on my workout clothes and I go downstairs and I have a whole little setup and I work out for 40 minutes. after I work out for 40 minutes, I make myself something to eat, and then I start my day. I have been having the same off day routine for the last 2 years. Now, when I have to go to work, I get up at 4 a.m. to read and to pray. I then get myself ready, wash my face, get my clothes, my scrubs, whatever, drive to work. When I'm driving to work, I'm listening to gospel music. I'm listening to something that's uplifting my spirits. I'm listening to something that's filling me. I'm not listening to anything that's draining. I'm finding it's a podcast, a book, or gospel music. Because that 20 minutes to work, sometimes it gives, people can't drive. And that frustrates me, right? So if I know that people can't drive is a trigger for me, I need to put myself in a space where I am going to be filled so I'm not so angry and annoyed. Because honestly, people not driving don't got nothing to do with me, and I can't control it. So I have to continue to control my environment. And I control my environment by what I'm listening to and what I'm feeding myself, mentally, spiritually. So I get to work, and I get to work in a really good mood. Like, the board could be looking like, who did it? I could be in the worst room with not the best doc, and I'm still like, yo, I started my morning off great. God got me all the way through here. I look at the clock and be like, I'm only here for 8 hours today. Let's get this out. Boom, let's do it. You have to start picking out all of the positives in your day, because if you only see the negatives, the enemy is going to play on that, and you're going to have the worst day all day. You're going to have a Monday every day. I tell you, I haven't had a Monday in a long time. I just don't allow myself to have Mondays no more. Every day is the same day. It's a great day for it to be today. So that is my morning routine. It is time for you to find your morning routine so that you can change your mindset and your life can go into the trajectory that you want it to go, so that you can become the woman or the man that you are destined to be. But none of that is going to happen if you don't change your mindset and if you don't give God 110% of your belief. Stop quitting God. All right, guys, I have taken up enough of your time. We will be back next week. Next week, we are talking about topic number 3, which is releasing the need to know. I love you guys so much. You already know, whatever you do today, please do it with love. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys here next week. Same time, same place.